Hello and welcome to the Buckcast episode 9. Today we have special guest, Sean.
Thank you. I know. I'm an honored guest.
I had, I don't know how much, okay, so I was talking to my girlfriend and she was we were talking about all the people who were on, and she's like, from the voices, I could tell like that these people were Mexican, some of the people we had on. And she's like, are all of your friends Mexicans? And I was like, nah, we'll have the Asians on soon.
Oh, yeah, true.
We have Sean scheduled. He's going to, sorry to leak your race.
Of course, yeah.
And schedule got moved around a little bit, but you're here. So
yeah.
At least one person was highly anticipating this having you on.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, everyone. I'm Asian. I'm one of the Asian people who play Yu-Gi-Oh!
I have completely derailed this already. Thank you. You're welcome. But the big thing is that you are the devoted hero player.
Yes, I love heroes are the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! I've said it countless times. If you don't have a deck to play in any format, heroes will always be there with their arms open, ready to grab you by your thighs and take you to victory.
Have you always been a hero supremacist, or did you start with something else?
Oh my god, yes. Okay, should I explain kind of like my history now? Okay, so I think when I was younger, I started off with GX. So obviously, I wanted to be the main character and play heroes, but my cousin, he gave me like this huge like tin full of bulk, and out of that, I made a Warrior 6 Sam hero deck with like, it was like the worst deck I've ever played in my life. And I never played with anyone, so that's saying a lot. It had equip spells. It had like 90% 6 Sam cards, and then like 4 of the normal hero cards.
4 normal hero
Yeah, like the Sparkman and stuff. And I love that deck to death. I still have some of the cards, and they look like they've been through like the sink 100 times. But yes, ever since I was young, I loved heroes. They're just like the coolest archetype. Like Blue Eyes are cool, but they're lame. Cyber Dragons are up there, but they're also lame. But heroes are just like, they're cool.
I kind of miss GX.
I do too. Yeah.
No, I missed it.
You missed it. Oh.
I remember a little bit of the original series that I saw, and then I remember stuff. I remember 5Ds a lot. That's the one I remember the best.
Yeah.
I just kind of completely. So for me, heroes are like, oh, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, like the old archetype.
Heroes?
Yeah.
What is a hero?
Yeah.
How much lamer could you think of as a thing to give your main character? What should the main character set be? Heroes.
Yeah,
they're just heroes. They're super. they're just super.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I can understand that. I think it's like because I miss like dual monsters and stuff, and I also like. I got out of the game like near 5Ds because I thought Stardust Dragon looked like a dork.
What?
He had like so many. He had like the orbs on his like legs, and he's like in the card art. I don't know. Yeah, pull it up right now.
Please keep talking. Please keep about how the orbs in his leg made him look like a dweeb.
He looks like the card art itself looks sick, but whenever he's like, I think in the alternate artwork, he's like just a skinny dork.
He is pretty skinny.
He's got the orbs everywhere. He's so like round.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just like
he's got some orbiness to him.
Feels weird to me, but I'm just not I just wasn't a fan. Nora wasn't a fan of like Dark Magician and stuff.
I never liked
Dark Magician. I get the appeal, like he's cool and he's got like the waifu Dark Magician girl, but that's just not for me. And like Blue Eyes was cool too, but again, he's just like a little dorky.
Now that I'm looking back at Stardust Dragon, I'm like, he do be a little thin and dorky.
Yeah, he does right. He does like it looks like an absolute nerd. Imagine
I think they were trying to make him more humanoid.
Yeah, because like I think like Blue Eyes was just like an actual
Blue
dragon.
Eyes is just a literal dragon.
Yeah, and this is more like kind of human dragon. I was gonna say a wyvern, but I think a wyvern has. No arms, but only wings. So.
Well, he's more humanoid. I don't know why exactly. It's kind of, now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of weird. But yeah, I see why you thought he was a dork.
Yeah, I thought he was a dork.
If you didn't watch the show and get the emotional investment.
Yeah, I did. And
I thought, wow, that dragon looked like he needs to put on some pounds.
Yeah, if anything, I was a Blackwings fan. They just look. They're just so much cool. They're all birds, and birds are the scariest like animals in the world. Think about it. They fly. They have like beaks that like hurt, and they poop everywhere. And there's like massive. There's like a huge amount. That's why I hate bugs.
Yeah.
Because like bugs are
the
just
whole
like,
time you were talking, I was like, isn't like the locust?
Yeah, like
worse?
It's like
like
it's
cockroaches.
Yeah, but like birds are like massive. Like
yeah,
when you compare
you can actually punch a bird. You know?
You would punch a bird?
I'd punch a bird. I've backslapped bees before. What do you mean?
Okay, well, bees are horrifying.
I don't know if you've ever, small tangent here. Have you see bees like in the wild and the real out there.
Yeah.
And they're like, these little things, and they know what they're doing. But then you go to an amusement park.
Oh my god.
Those bees?
Yeah.
Those bees are chubbed out, and also they do not give a hoot about anything.
Bro.
You can smack them, and they don't attack you at all. They're like completely unfazed.
Yeah, common occurrence for bees, right?
But whereas the bees out in the, they see you and like they're kind of like they take an defensive stance. Either
Yeah,
they're out of there,
or they're
attacking
you.
The only two options. But the ones at the amusement park, they're like, I'll just come chill out in your immediate vicinity and get smacked and not care.
Horrifying. Anyways, let's get back to the topic of Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay, so I started off with I think it was like the Light and Dark Dragon structure deck.
Interesting, yeah.
I think that's when I started, but I was really young and I didn't know how to play, and I kind of took a huge break from card games because they're just I got the bulk, and my mom hated how many cards were just all over my room, so I took a break. I started I think around 2021. Oh no. Okay, we'll start with my competitive when I started actually learning how to play the game. It was start right before COVID hit. It was high school. This kid went up to me in my animation class, and he was like, "Hey, do you know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh?" And I was like, "Oh shoot, can I swear?"
Yeah.
Oh shit, Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh my god, it's been so long. Hell no. But I'll find out how to play Yu-Gi-Oh and play against you. And he was telling me about it. I was like, "Oh, that's so sick." So I went home. I remember in class I looked up Hero Deck, and they had all the new ones, and they didn't have any of the old ones. So I was like, what am I looking? I didn't understand a single thing.
You're like, what is this bastardization of what I love?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, what is all these cards? So then I went home. I typed in Yu-Gi-Oh competitive hero deck, and it was 6 samurai videos, 6 Sam or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All of them. I watched all of them. I went on Dueling Nexus. I tried my best to learn the deck. I hit Diamond in Dueling Nexus, which is, I'll say this, Dueling Nexus is terrible for learning how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I had Ash, Nib, and then Droplet in the deck, and I don't think I've ever used any of those cards at all. I never used I didn't even know what Ash Blossom did. Team Sam was put it in your deck, put 3 of them, and I was like, oh yeah. It was really bad. And then I was over that weekend, I was I'm so ready to just come back to school and clap this kid up. I'm I'm going to destroy this kid. And then COVID hit. And I was left devastated and alone. No Yu-Gi-Oh opponent to play with because I didn't want to play Nexus anymore.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So you're still a bit of a baby.
Yeah, I'm still a bit of a baby because during COVID, I got into Magic. So I played a ton of Magic, and I was just on a cardboard addiction at that point. So when I was going into college, I found out we had a card game club. So I was this is the perfect moment to get back into Yu-Gi-Oh and play actual. So then I looked up a budget hero deck, which was at the time the worst idea ever because heroes were really expensive in 2021.
Yeah, I remember.
Because before all the reprints happened, Ferris was still at 30, Increase was at 30, Liquid Soldier was 60. I remember Malicious Bane and a Dust of Gold were 120 each, and I was that sounds terrible.
Yeah, I remember those days.
It was, yeah. So then I grinded EDO Pro using that deck, and I beat every rogue deck I looked at, except the moment someone played something semi-competitive, I got waxed completely. And then I built the deck. I came to school. I think my first experience was this one person went up to me. He said, "Let's duel." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so ready. Haha, I'm playing a budget deck." He didn't even, like, care. And he absolutely destroyed me with, like, what's the Alistair? Invoked Shaddoll, and I was like,
Shaddoll.
he beat me in, like, I think, like, 5 minutes, and I think the moment afterwards, I didn't even talk to him. I, like, picked up my deck and, like, went home. I was like, what am I doing? It was terrible. But then from there, I was like, I'm in the big leagues now, right? So then
I remember that time period, and I think there was only me and one other dude playing Shaddoll Invoked.
Yeah.
And I think I know who that was.
I think if you know who it is, then yeah, it was
funny.
A terrible experience. So I was like, oh, I gotta get better. So then slowly but surely, I've like transitioned into like more of a semi-competitive player. Like, of course, I'm playing heroes, and like I played other decks before, and I'll kind of get into that later. But like, I have like the main core, and I have almost all the staples to like make a competent hero deck, like a full power, quote unquote. I just don't have like the sideboard stuff. I'm too lazy to buy nibs. Also, I hate that card with like a passion. But I have like droplets and ash and like the full hero deck. But like, I don't know. There's no other deck like interests me.
That's interesting.
If that like makes sense.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know it is funny. There's a whole, when you think about these people who kind of get a deck based off probably usually it's like something that happened in the show.
Yeah.
And then they're kind of like fully invested into that. That is Yu-Gi-Oh for them. You know, for some people it's the Blue Eyes or the Dark Magician.
Yeah.
And those people don't tend to last long because those decks are terrible.
Those decks are so bad.
I had a friend in high school who did Blackluster Soldier. That was his thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And at the time, it was actually like Blackluster Soldier support had come out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That was like when they released Super Soldier, and they had all these new guys, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So he was eating well for the level of competitiveness we were at.
Yeah.
Also, he had a lot of money, so it didn't matter.
That's like the biggest play. If you have a lot of money and you're getting into Yu-Gi-Oh, you're like the blessed few.
But then, you know, I think about the hero players, and it's like, hero has been some amount of competitive for a very, very long time.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, we've been either consistently like just rogue, but it's one I think it's like consistently upper rogue, because it's not like we don't get waxed that hard by, like, we have outs to most competitive, most of like the higher tier decks, mostly because we just play floodgates. If you notice, like, all hero our best boss monsters are just floodgates, or just like some form of just basic interaction.
Oh, it's like Macrocosmos is just
Macrocosmos is just like the best.
Dark Law has been the thing. Yeah. I can't remember what other board. I know Dark Law, ever since it's been out, has been the staple of all hero players.
Yeah, it's like he's our Lord and Savior until DPE came along and saved us from
just having one good card.
Well, yeah. It's just the one good card, but
I'm trying to even remember what the other quote-unquote good cards were that they would end on before DPE came out.
They would end on, like, Plasma.
Oh, yeah, Plasma.
Like, Plasma. I think at the time, like, Plasma, like, Dark Law was, like, the best board you can end on.
Yeah. So, Skill Drain, Macrocosmos.
Yeah, Skill Drain, Macrocosmos. Yeah, that's probably, like, all you really need. There's, like, we had Dystopia at the time, which was, like, a worse DP, but he, like, burned. But even then, he's okay.
Don't people still play Dystopia?
I think we are now, because we have 3 Fusion Destiny. Praise the Lord. Thank you, Konami. Each ban list blessing us hero players. But yeah, it's because since we draw here Fusion Destiny more, like, it's pretty terrible if you just have a dead Fusion Destiny. So now it's like, now you get it more commonly. So it's just nicer to have a second Destiny hero name. I prefer to play Dangerous. He's like he's the one that uses a Dark and a Destiny hero, because like you can use that to like start off your combos and stuff. But it's all to personal taste. I mean,
that does sound like a good explanation of hero. It's all to personal taste.
Yeah, it's all to personal, and it's like really interesting because like you can like go on YouTube and then look up just like hero deck profile, and you'll see like there's a couple of people. There's this one dude on YouTube who just plays he plays a more Destiny hero focused package where it's like he plays like Destiny draw, where if you discard a Destiny hero you draw 2, and he plays like 6 or 7 like Destiny hero names. He is insane. But there's like another insane, even more insane hero player who plays XYZ heroes. He plays rank 4 toolbox in 2022.
Okay.
It's
interesting.
It's crazy. He plays like only level 4s. Like every end board he ends on it's Darklaw, which is the best hero card, and then whatever like Floodgate, rank 4. So like Abyss Dweller or Babushka.
But doesn't like,
Abyss Dweller is a little bit redundant, but
Dweller is a bit redundant. But also, what is? I can't remember. Isn't Babushka reciprocal?
Yeah. So I think you just put DP or you put Darklaw in defense.
And then you don't get the snipe out of hand effect, right?
No, but
I'm trying to remember exactly what Babushka does.
Because I think it's like on Summit it switches everything in defense.
Anything that can be is
forced to defense, and
then it negates their activated effects.
I think because it'd be wild if it negated.
That's what I was trying to.
And I was like, this guy somehow he got like top 8 at the locals, so you tell me how good this deck is.
While this face-up card is in defense position, change all face-up monsters on the field of defense position and negate the activated effects. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess you don't get the snipe. But you get
but at least you
get
everything.
Macro
still.
You get everything else. That's good enough against
macro and pseudo skill drain.
Yeah, it's
the same thing.
It does the same thing.
Original.
I'm trying to see a trend here.
Plasma DPE. Plasma and Darklaw Baguska. Almost the same thing.
Yeah, I mean that is true. But I guess it's it's weird, but how his deck works, it at least plays under Nib, because a hero lives at 3, and there's like a Elements of Hero where it like summons, when it on summon it summons another one from hand.
Oh, is that Solid Soldier?
Yeah, it's Solid Soldier, so then you can like, that's how you play under Nib. He was the one who like, I don't know, he got like 16th or 32th place at like the Dallas regional. He played like Isolde heroes, which was DP Darklaw Pass.
Yeah.
And sometimes he ended on like Appaloosa and heroes. So I was like, oh my god, this guy's a genius. But then I tried playing it and I was like, this deck sucks donkey dick. And I was like, how is this playable? But hey, results speak for himself, and he's popping off.
Is it just one of those things where he's like, I can't win if I make the deck consistent?
So I might
as well make it inconsistent and high rolling and just try go to so many events. Eventually I'll get lucky.
Make it, yeah. It's weird. He plays Zodiacs in the deck. It's like Zodiac, and he has like 6 Zodiac cards and then Zeus. So if everything goes wrong, you just go into Zeus. So I'm all for it. It's sick. It's wacky and weird, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. I don't know. First of all, I want to go back to hero players all having very different opinions about how you should play the deck.
Yeah.
And I'm reminded of a certain clip from MBT.
Oh my god, where he's dangling the keys?
Yeah.
Okay. That was like a personal attack against me. Because I love Sunrise.
And you're also a Farpa viewer.
I'm also, yeah. Yes, of course. But the way... I have a lot to say about how MBT plays heroes, because he plays it more... It's more Destiny hero focused, but not really. He believes that, the Sunrise Absolute Zero play is gimmicky and, lame. And I'm like, it's not that bad. I think that was when Verte was still alive, and his philosophy was right. DP is, our strongest card, and, Darklaw is, also our strongest card. So he just wants to, turbo that out.
Yeah.
So he plays 2 DP instead, and I was like, oh, I can kind of see it, but I mean, it's it's whatever. Because I think Sunrise, gives you a draw 2 on the next turn. Because if you use Liquid Soldier plus any other element besides water or whatever, he draws 2, discard 1, right? It's a graceful charity.
Uh-huh.
But he just gives you like an extender that you can just like hold on to, because you don't have to summon out Absolute Zero, because honestly, like, you can just sit on Sunrise and then like continue your combo with like Dark Wall, like DP or whatever, and that's still fine. And then next turn, like, hoping that you live, which, you know, hero boards are really easy to break, but like, assuming you live, you get DPE plus Absolute Zero, and then like plus a draw 2, discard 1, which is like, it feels infinitely better than just like having 3 DP in the deck. But
the follow-up feels really good.
Yeah, the follow-up is really good, and you can use Sunriser. Like, Sunriser, even though he's like a good card on like paper, you can just, he's kind of disposable. So you can like link him off into like Wonder Driver. That's what I do a lot. So I end on like, sometimes I end on boards of like DPE, Wonder Driver, and then like Absolute Zero. So I could like pop Absolute Zero with like DP or something. And I just don't use Sunrise, right? But
okay.
I think, and he's like, I've seen his hero build and it makes sense, but I'm just not.
Just not on board.
I'm just not a fan of it. Like, if you're gonna play into Nibs, might as well just go out and combo your life off, right?
If you're playing into it anyway,
you might as well just try to like, and if you can like draw into like a mass change or something, that's like infinitely better than just like trying to like hard draw it, or like, because if you try to go into like Dark Wall just like by yourself, you go next super, super hard. So you might as well just either like high roll it and just pray you get something, or you just like cry and end on Dark Wall and pass. But it's whatever.
Another little tidbit I want to say about heroes is, I was watching, I don't know if you know about him, Hakuna Matata.
No. Hakuna Matata? No.
Hakuna Matata. Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube channel. Would recommend taking a look at him. He looks at stuff like from a statistical standpoint.
Yeah.
So he does a lot of his stuff as like looking at top cut results and then doing math about it, and then looking at YGO-scope and stuff.
Oh yeah. I think. Is he also the one who did the dueling book ones, or am I thinking of someone else? I'm probably thinking of someone else. But you can.
Well, YGO-scope is dueling book data.
Oh, is that okay? Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just trolling.
YGO-scope takes data from dueling book specifically.
Yeah.
But every time he makes one of those videos, he's like, by the way, YGO-scope kind of dumb. It thinks if someone's playing DPE that's a hero deck.
Yeah, that's. Oh my god. I think when Verte was still alive, I absolutely hated looking up heroes at the time, because every time I type in heroes, it'd be Hero Drytron, Hero this, like Hero Branded, and it's like, oh my god, these guys are geniuses, and they found a way to somehow mix basic heroes and then the top competitive deck into the best deck of the year, like of the world. Like, I click on it, and it's like, oh, we're playing DPE package. It's like, stop putting
it's
hero.
Not hero.
It's DPE.
Just DPE.
It just put DPE Drytron. It's like, ugh, so much pain. That was so terrible. It was. I got debated so many times. I've seen people play branded here, like actual, like, just generic, like, heroes plus branded, and I was like, that's pretty cool. Everything else is.
Because locking yourself in fusions doesn't matter so much.
Yeah, it's like the locking of yourself into heroes. It's like it's the worst part about heroes, because it's like.
Is there any? Yeah, heroes locking themselves into heroes specifically is definitely an issue.
Yeah, that's like, and those like combo like pieces are the ones that lock you, and those are like the ones that like make heroes kind of work. Like Ferris locks you. Yeah. Cross Crusader hard locks you. So how it goes, it's like Ferris, you can like do branded fusion, and then you can like, you can do branded fusion and then still activate Ferris. Mm-hmm. But you can't go into Cross Crusader. Because Cross Crusader is like, if you summon anything other than heroes at all during the turn, you can't use them at all.
That's rough.
Yeah, and I feel like I cheated like 50 people out of wins, because I went Kaiju and then Cross Crusader, and it's like,
that's sad. You can't even do that.
Yeah, you can't even do that. It's sucks. But
yeah, that does suck.
But it's like the same thing with the dude who plays like the rank 4 toolbox. Mm. It's just like, there's hero monsters, like a hero lives doesn't unlock you, Mass Change doesn't unlock you, like Stratos doesn't unlock you and stuff. So it's like, as long as you have those, it's like you can
work around.
You can work around like just taking out like the strong
Cross Crusader.
Cross Crusader.
Cross Crusader is a really good card though.
Yeah, he's like insanely strong, but I mean it's like it's whatever. Heroes are.
Have there been any real attempts to do tier hero?
Yes.
How did that turn out?
Terrible. I mean, some people like. There's a couple of people I know who like play it. They play like one Shadow Mist, and then like 3 Hero Lives, and then 1 Mass Change, or like Mass Change 2 or something. Because I think Mass Change 2 is like you can do anyone.
Yeah. But
you have to like discard a card, and that kind of makes sense. But and if like, I know people do like they've been adding Destiny Hero to like their actual just normal tier build because you can like mill off the Malicious and Denier and they'll still work. But it seems kind of copium if you ask me. Also, tier sucks. Me too.
Tier sucks.
Yeah, every deck sucks.
Every deck, all of them.
Yeah, we'll get into my hot takes later, but
I think we're already
here.
We're
already here? Okay,
already...
tier sucks, Sprite sucks.
Sucks in what manner?
Meta. Well, I didn't think, honestly, I didn't think tiers were that bad. At least for, like, I'm looking at it from, like, a hero player's perspective.
Yeah.
Tiers are one of the easier ones to beat.
Because Dark Claws gives you an amazing matchup.
Yeah, it gives you an amazing matchup. I think going second, because, like, how I'm building heroes for going second, but also, like, having a small going first package. Like, I play Rivalry and, like, Dark Angel. I don't know if you know...
Dark Angel is the one that gets spells, right?
Yeah. So, like, turn 1, I would, like... Currently, like, in my opinion, like, the most meta build for heroes, it's... You Dark Angel your opponent, you flip Rivalry, and they can't do anything.
Yeah.
They literally just can't, right? Because they're stuck into heroes, or they're stuck into warriors, and, who plays warriors? No one's playing warriors, right? And they can't out it with spells because, Dark Angel negates, so... weirdly enough, they can, like, droplet.
That sends it.
Yeah, it sends to graveyard and Darklaw. How Darklaw works, it's like it only affects your opponent's graveyard.
Oh, so it sends it
so it sends it to your graveyard, and that's like the worst interaction in the game. But
that's pretty funny.
It's really weird. I just outed every hero player, so you're welcome. That's like the one way to beat the combo, but it's so strange. But and then like if you're going second with tiers, or if you're going second against like tiers. It's not bad because you can like droplet and like imperm the Winda, like the Mirror Jade. I don't know. What do they still play? They play Winda.
The builds are very varied.
Yeah, I know they're like super weird, but I know like consistently what I've played against is like Winda.
Yeah.
Like you can just like imperm that, and you just play through whatever you just be a god. If you draw like 2, if you draw imperm and droplet, you just save the. You just save the imperm, or no, you save the droplet because like they'll do something where it's like they'll mill a ton and then you just negate with the other one. But compared to like sprites, it's like terrible. I feel like sprites is really hard to play against. I think do they still make Toad? They do, right?
The pure variant, I think a lot of them are making Toad still.
Yeah,
but it's pretty. I think it's still pretty up in the air.
Yeah. Well, I think whenever I was playing against that, I was like. I felt like sprites were like the harder matchup because Toad is a crazy card, and we don't have. If you don't like, it's the same thing with tiers where if you don't draw the out to it, like imperm or anything, it sucks. Like going second, and then going first, I never found out how to like genuinely like what end board beats them hard because they just have like starter, smasher, like
they just don't care about Darklaw.
They don't care about Darklaw because they like. That's wild. I can go on Plasma, but then they just go like blue and then Smashers or something, and it's like my Darklaw.
Yeah, there's not just the way to beat Sprite is just to have a lot of interactions, which is not something.
Not something heroes really provide. Which is why like the Dark Angel like rivalry is like our best bet against it because it literally just gives them 0 lineup play.
Bro. Yep.
Yeah. I've seen like people out it because I know people play like enemy controller. So like you flip rivalry, they go chain enemy controller on whatever they summoned, like tribute it, right?
Oh, so you're waiting to activate the rivalry until they summon a monster?
Yeah.
Why would you do that though?
Well, it's because like sometimes you end on boards where you just have rivalry because like it's really weird because sometimes you might mess up like
you couldn't give them the Dark Angel.
You couldn't give him the Dark Angel because
Okay.
there's some lines where it's like I can end on Dark Wall DP, but I can't end on Dark Angel. Like I can pick either one, right?
Yeah.
So then sometimes you just can't end on it, and it's like that really sucks sometimes, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
So they summon you like flip Rivalry. They go enemy controller like tribute whatever, and then they just go like it's either that and they tribute and then do whatever the line they want to do then.
Yeah.
Or they go, like, they already summoned 2 things out. You flip Rivalry, like, they summon, like, 2 frogs or whatever. They can chain starter, summon out blue, and then just send away the frogs. And I was like, oh my god, that guy's big brain as fuck. And I got whacked super hard.
Yeah.
But
I can definitely see how that's such a hard matchup.
yeah, it's terrible.
All the little details.
All the little details is just like, yeah, it really sucks. And against like good Sprite players, like you'll know when there's a bad Sprite player because if you win. But like, a really good one will just like make life hell, and they'll somehow end on like a board that just like still beats you.
Sprite's kind of funny because I feel like the skill ceiling isn't that high.
It's not that. It reminds me of Sword Soul, like Sword Soul Tenyi, because it's generally like the same thing. You end on like 2 negates and then like blackout. And it's like kind of the same thing, but at least Sword Soul, it doesn't have recurring Omni negate. That's like, and like plus extra negates as well.
It feels, I'm seeing, since you mentioned it, now I'm seeing a lot of parallels where it's like for Sword Soul and for Sprite, it's like you can play it with like 0 brain power.
Yeah,
right.
You just end on like
you can have like no idea what you're doing.
Yeah,
and still end on the correct inboard every time.
Yeah.
But what distinguishes the good players is how they play through interaction.
Yeah, exactly. Because like you can play like everyone knows how to like everyone and their mother knows how to make the Sword board, and most people know how to make the Sprite board. But it's like, yeah, what makes them like really good is like if they can like play going second. That's what like they're a mid-range deck, right? So it's like kind of mid-range.
The terms are kind of falling apart year after year.
But and like people will play like Tenyis and stuff and like play through boards. That's wild to me. And they still end on like Baron Chixiao, and it's like that's wild to me.
Yeah, they're playing through a board, and it's like you're doing all this stuff. You're trying to interact with them at all the right moments, and then suddenly you go like, oh, here's the pinch point. You do the thing, and then it's like they held the Dragon Cycle this entire time.
Literally, like,
and you're like, how? How did you become so good at drawing the right card? But then you think about it afterwards, and you're like, if a less good player was playing, they probably would have used this way earlier.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I guess, like, yeah, you'll just notice when there's, like, a good and bad player.
Because they see the line.
They just see the line. And in Heroes, you got to be a great player to see the lines. I'm that guy.
You're that guy.
Yeah.
I have actually, when talking to some people, I have heard some people refer to you as being a quote-unquote good hero player.
Yeah.
Because you really understand the lines and stuff, and that you are pretty good at playing through disruption and stuff.
Yeah, I'll say I love playing going second heroes. It's like the most fun thing ever. I play on Master Duel, where it's like, I'm only going second cards, and I just like let my opponent play, and I go on YouTube. It's the same thing I do here. It's like I'm gonna start playing, and it's like, cool. I'm gonna open my phone, and I'm just gonna give you thumbs up for everything. And I'll genuinely ask you sometimes what you did, just to fluke you out, and I'll look at my hand. I'll be like, thinking on this. You're good.
And it's like your hand is
my hand
Dark
is like
Ruler no more. Something.
Draw for like Lightning Storm. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'll say like heroes are kind of like Drytron, where it's like we have like kind of like a singular line we go through that like ends on whatever. But sometimes you kind of draw dookie. Like Ferris, discarding any hero is like quote unquote full combo to whatever kind of like end board you want to end on. But like it really sucks. So especially if a combo piece is in your hand, like I think I have a problem with like I think too far into the line, and then once I get there, I'm like, oh, I missed. Like I forgot to like do this, right? I forgot to add this card. So I would say like I'm a decent hero player, where it's like honestly like I think I played against my friend the other day. He was playing tiers, and then he had like set up full tier board. I looked at my hand, and I was like, he had like 2 set cards. I was like, if one of those cards is super poly, I can't win. right? Like that's kind of like how I see it, because they'll negate something, and then I'll have like the extender, then negate that, and it's like, oh, I have the surprise extender, surprise, and it's like negate, and it's like, all right, cool, never mind. So I like to say I'm insane, and also Trinity is like one of my favorite cards.
Trinity's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's like
Pretty amusing.
It's really amusing, especially when they don't have like anything to stop it, like tears, especially because they don't end on like a negate, quote unquote, like a strong negate. Like they end on Mirror Jade. I know some people play like Branded and they end on Mirror Jade, and that's like the worst of my like problems. But usually they just end on like Floodgates and really bad ones too. So you just like go Trinity and then just like beat everything because it's like 5K. I think I did the math. You needed like 3 4K beaters to beat Trinity and plus Honest Neos because it gives them 75. Yeah. So you need like 3 4K beaters or else you're dead. If you have anything less than that, you're dead. So, yeah, I'm a god. I'm a god. Yeah, I played through some crazy boards.
I would like to throw some shade on all hero players, yourself included.
Yeah, true.
Which is... yeah, true.
Yeah, true.
Whatever you're going to say, facts.
Yeah, whatever. I know what you're going to say. Yes, we're the hottest human beings.
Oh yeah, alive. That's the shade I was gonna throw, is that they're all just wildly attractive.
Yes, of course.
No, I was gonna say, in all my time playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I've played against a lot of different hero players, playing a lot of different builds in a lot of different formats. But one thing has always been the truth, which is every single one, including you, that I have played against, one of two things happened. Either A, I had Nibiru, hand trap, whatever, completely stopped them.
Yeah.
Just completely nuked their board. Option 2, keep in mind, I don't always play very deep hand trap decks. It's not like this option. Second option doesn't happen. The second option happens just as often, which is they somehow goofed up the combo.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's really bad because I overthink a ton in my lines. I'm like, oh, what's the best line? And then I try to like go into. I have times where it's like I've normal summon and I think of a line that requires a normal summon already, and I'm like, I do the line. I'm like, oh shit, oh fuck, and I gotta like find a way to make this hand like playable so you don't like just OTK me. But Nib is its own issue. Yeah, it's a card. Like people were playing Crossout because Nib was just like a. I think people were playing Nib a lot at the time when Crossout was released, and it was just like hell on earth, terrible, so bad, but. You can play through Nib. Usually you end on, because people don't end on Plasma anymore. Plasma is like kind of a dead card, like honestly, like realistically, it's something you want to like search off for follow up instead of just having it in your hand. But it's kind of nice because if you don't like waste your Malicious and Denier doing like stupid stuff, you can like save it for when they give you a Nib token, and then you can like summon out Plasma, and then you end on Plasma DP. And you steal like the Nib token, and then and it still gets beat, but
they've still just DPE by itself has done so much for their heroes.
Yeah, that's so much for like
obviously increased just the power of the deck.
Yeah, and like increase our interaction. That's like one extra interaction in a deck that usually gets like a hand rip.
But I think one of the biggest things, well, DP is good in Hero for so many reasons. The first of all being just that it massively improves the inboards by making it a second actually good card.
Yeah.
But also Fusion Destiny is a non-normal summon way to dump really good cards that are combo extenders. Fusion Destiny is just kind of crazy in Hero.
It's so good. And then I think it's like whenever people were playing it, like just when Verte was still out, and they had like Dasher and Celestial, like that was still like really good because like draw 2 is insane. Yes. Like that's like the craziest follow up ever, and the Dasher effect is cool, but no one cares.
I mean, it's fun. Every now and again it'll come up.
Yeah.
I remember I played Sword Soul DP in Master Duel.
Yeah.
And Dasher came up all the time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Just summoning Sword Soul from your hand.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa, summoning Moye without having to use my normal summon? That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I predicted that line.
Yeah, I predicted I'd draw that.
Yeah.
But DP, the biggest thing is just like how much more resilient it makes them to me anyway, Nibiru.
Yeah.
Because for as long as I can remember people playing how do I actually don't remember playing against Hero very much before Nibiru came out, which is kind of funny. I think that was just a weird
Yeah,
coincidence.
it's just like
It's just a weird coincidence that I didn't play against Hero very much till after that came out, after Nibiru came out. But it was so crushing to them. It's like they just genuinely, you don't put up a negate.
yeah.
So whenever you saw Hero and you had a Nib in here, oh, cool, I win.
Yeah, you literally just win.
You literally just wait until they say like end main, and you'll be like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Rock,
Nib,
you want to scoop now or later?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh, I think we're done here.
Yeah.
It was that bad. Whereas DPE, it's like, well, the DPE floats, you actually have an interaction.
Yeah.
But
I know, yeah, most combo lines before DP ended on Nib. Now it ends on DP Nib.
Yeah.
Or
DPE with the big token. Hey.
Yeah.
That's a lot better.
That's huge. But yeah, it was a painful time. I've had games where it's like, I look at my hand, I'm like, you got Nib? I just genuinely ask my opponent that. Because if they could honestly just lie, but, you know, I don't play in like a super competitive. I don't do it at locals, of course, but I do it against my friends where it's like, if they have Nib, I'll just scoop. We just go to game 2. There's like no way I out it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love DP.
DPE is a good one.
Yeah, I spent $100 when at his peak, and now he's $14.
He is?
Yeah.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to buy DPE. Because I thought it was fun. Well, to put some context, I was playing Salad when Nibiru came out.
Yeah, that's...
And, you know, that kind of ruined everything.
Yeah.
I was really boned. I couldn't afford crossouts.
Who could?
Crossout was so expensive back then. Didn't have any reprints. And it was being hyped up because of Nibiru and stuff. But it was crazy. I had to pivot decks because I was just so sick of ending on Nibiru token.
It's terrible.
And then I, look over at Hero Brethren.
Yeah.
And suddenly they're not losing to Nibiru anymore. And I'm like, you bastards.
You cheaters.
We were the same, you and I.
Yeah,
now.
True. Oh my god, yeah. No, and then I had that problem too. I did play other decks. Like, I played, I think the next deck I played Evil Twins, which was like just pure links. I remember they were so expensive, and they were just like equally as expensive as heroes, and I hated it. And I built them. I was like, wow, this is so much fun. I play like 50 hand traps, and I'm the one playing the hand traps, right?
Yeah.
And then I played against Flunder once, and he summoned M-Pen, and I had like 4 links out, and I was like, I didn't know what to do.
Uh-huh.
So afterwards, I sold the deck. I think after I played against that Flunder play, I literally just stopped playing the deck.
What made you want to play Evil Twin in the first place?
Girls.
Just
women.
The cute girls?
No, I thought they were interesting, and they're getting new support whenever I started to get into them.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was really interesting.
Like Trouble Sunny was coming out?
Yeah, Trouble Sunny was coming out. And like, I just thought the deck was interesting because like, it kind of like, it had a lot more plays than people first thought. Like, you'd tribute off and stuff and like send and like dodge stuff. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting. And I was like, it's something I don't usually play because I don't like, when was the last time I summoned like 5 good links? I summoned the 1 good link and every other link is like mid-MS. But, and then they just had like, at the time, they were like getting paired up with Outlich. And I was like, I want to play Outlich. And I was like, Outlich is so much fun. Flipping Solemn Judgment, stopping my opponent. Oh my god. And then, yeah, after that one time I played against Flunder, I just stopped playing the deck.
Outlich is definitely a lot more fun when you're also playing something interesting.
Yeah,
like
Outlich by itself is just, I tried doing that, and it's just like, oh, here comes Conk, here comes Haquero, let's go, Outlich guy.
Yeah, I bought Eldritch over the pandemic. In hindsight, I'm like, I have no idea why. I know why. It was because they were reprinting. It was super cheap.
Yeah, of course.
All the reprints came out. There was the gold set.
Yeah, it was like the premium gold. Yeah.
Yeah, and suddenly Eldritch was affordable, and I was being beat up by it in Master Duel. So I was like, surely this is a good thing to do. Buy Eldritch.
Yeah, buy Eldritch.
And I already owned Invoked.
Oh, so yeah, so you had that.
Invoked Eldritch. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's fun, right?
Was
no,
it?
No, it was pretty boring. I did not have fun playing that against people.
Yeah.
And so But anyway, I remember when the Evil Twins and Live Twins started popping off in Elvish. I also was like, that's what made me look at it, and then I saw the Pure variants, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a really neat deck. It does something interesting and unique. And also, I talked about this before. As you were probably know, we all make fun of Kirby for being dumb and also
true. Horny
on main.
Horny.
Yeah. But as I have admitted, I look at cute girl deck,
yeah,
and it's like, if it's a relative, because for me, the most important things are competitiveness and cost.
Yeah,
but then it's like,
looks.
Does it look good?
Yeah.
And does it have a neat gimmick? Like I've talked before about how much I love Cosmo.
Yeah.
Just the gimmick of it.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that you could combine Star Wars and the Wizard of Oz so perfectly?
Yeah,
It's really awesome. It's really neat. Just looking at all the card arts and figuring out how they weaved it together. But I have never ever played Cosmo because they've always been absolutely awful.
Yeah.
For as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
But Evil Twin, on the other hand, it's like actually it struck two of those pillars. It was like actually competitive, really neat gameplay mechanics.
Yeah.
Really neat. Stylistically, where it's like they're VTubers.
Yeah,
and also
VTubers,
art thieves.
it's so cool.
Like that's pretty. It's weird, but it's cool. You
I'm
get
all
to play
for
a
it.
card called GGEZ.
Yeah,
that's
like,
pretty
oh my
funny.
god, that's so funny.
But then so it's like it's got a cool gimmick. It's competitive-ish. It's got a cool everything, and it's got pretty girls on it.
Yeah.
What more could I ask for? And then I look at the price tag and I'm like, there's no way I'm buying this.
They're very expensive. And it's like, it makes sense. Waifu deck.
Yeah, waifu decks. That is the problem. The reason why I never play waifu decks is just because they're always too expensive.
Yeah, they're always so expensive. But going back to boring decks, I remember I got into Virtual World because the tins came out and they reprinted a ton of those cards, and I was like, oh my god, this is budget. This is my first step into I'm playing a tier 3 or tier 2 deck, right? And I think Virtual World was pretty decent at the time.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, that deck is so goddamn boring. I've never played a more difficult deck than that deck and a more boring deck. It's just it's so boring to me, and I have to think really hard about it, and to the point where it's I get a headache. I played and their grind game is really good to the point where it's if you play against another grindy deck, it's hell. It was so bad. I think I played against Guru in Virtual World, and I was at the end of it, I was I don't want to play Yu-Gi-Oh anymore. I was done after that.
I never bought VW.
Yeah.
But when it was in that, I think the same time period you're talking about, where it was a pretty good rogue deck, people were playing it pure.
Yeah.
I borrowed a friend's for pretty often to just play with, and I actually really liked it, because to me it was the amount of brain power I was willing to put forward and the amount of brain power that maximized the deck felt very close for me.
Yeah.
I was this is just challenging enough
where
I feel like I'm doing something cool.
Yeah.
But not so challenging that I'm
you're just
hurting myself.
Yeah, hurting yourself. Yeah, that was my problem, because I was really interested in the deck because it's I've seen some builds use the Speedroid stuff, and they use that to start their combo lines. And it's oh my god. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I bought the deck and I didn't even read half the cards. For a while, I never used M7 because I was too afraid to use them and mess up my own combos.
Uh-huh.
So I just ended on the Dragon Negate and then Shen Shen. And I was good enough. Just like Heroes, but with a negate.
I was ending on Crystal and Caliga every time.
Oh, and Caliga was, oh my god, Caliga goes so crazy. That card is actually so good.
I remember once when I was playing that deck, again, borrowed from a friend.
Yeah.
I opened 3 teleport.
Oh my god.
And then 2 other cards. And I didn't open a single. There was no VW combo.
Yeah.
I ended on the same end board,
but just
but I didn't activate a single VW effect.
So it's I think that deck is super good. And it sucks it's not good anymore.
Yeah.
Which sucks, but it's just if I could
got power crept, I think.
Yeah, I got power crept a ton, and I was just that's cool. And I wish it was still relevant so I can go back and then play it now with my new open, expanded mind of hero plays. So
now that your brain has opened up.
Yeah, because I like, and then, so I didn't want to play that, but I wanted to still play like a combo, like central like deck. So I played Dinos, which is like,
Interesting.
I played it's like heroes within the gate, right? Like we have things we send to the graveyard, and we summon a lot. We,
Okay, sure. Interesting analogy.
Get killed by Nib. That's like a lot of decks though, but I think that deck was really fun, but it's kind of expensive. And it's weirdly enough like expensive, where it's like it's just the extra deck.
Yeah.
You can get really expensive with that. But when I played that was like super fun. Oh my god, the funniest moment I had with that deck was I played against Branded. It was like Branded something. I think it was Branded Tri-Brigade. He had Mirror Jade, and I had a full board of dinos like ready to kill. I killed Mirror Jade, and he said Mirror Jade effect on end phase, and I was like, oh, so all my things died? And he's like, yeah. And I scooped. When I could have just battled and won the game.
Why did you go to the end phase? Oh, he just said during the end phase this will blow everything up, and you're like, oh, guess I lose.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. So I like picked up all my picked up all my monsters and I sent them to the graveyard. And he was like, why would you do that? I was like, I passed turn, and he was like, why would you do that? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, it's on end phase. You can still battle. And I was like, oh. And I lost that. I lost that duel.
That sounds like it was indeed a small brain maneuver.
It was, yeah. I was very dumb. But yeah, that deck is really fun. And then I realized I just gravitated towards decks that could just like kill my opponent in one turn. Huh. So I played Grand Maju. And I was like, that's the evolution. I peaked, but...
You peaked at Grand Maju?
I peaked at Grand Maju. And I thought I was a genius. Because I played... Because like... Grand Maju is like a going second deck, so you kind of like... You pray your opponent makes you go first, or makes you go second, right? Yeah. And then you just like kill them, and they're like, "Oh, you're playing Grand Maju. I'll make you go first." So you like sideboard all these like trap cards that are like basically D-Shifter on steroids.
Yeah.
And I was like, so people know that, right? So I played Waking the Dragon, and then I put DPE in it. Hero Grand Maju. I never activated it once. No one ever popped it. No one. I had.
Wait, the target for Waking the Dragon was DPE? What?
I'm a genius. No, the thought process, because DP is a level 8 and you rank 8 spam in that deck. Oh my god! Imagine they pop it, you go pop DPE and summons back out, and then you use it for Draglubion. Holy bro, I'm a genius.
I thought you meant like you had like Fusion Destiny and stuff in it.
No, that's a terrible idea.
Now that Fusion Destiny's at 3 though.
Yeah, but you banish like everything. It's like no point.
Yeah, Celestial vanishes itself.
True. Fuels your Grand Maju! Oh my god! Oh my god!
We figured it out.
Yeah, and then I played the deck once at a locals, and I got waxed by 4 Punk players. I played 4 Punk players back to back.
That's interesting. I've never played against pure Punk.
It was terrible. Well, it was like Punk. It was like the Synchro Punk at the time, before like Chaos Ruler, before like this format where Chaos Ruler's banned. I got Psychic and Punisher like 10 times.
That's fun.
It was so...
Anyway, I think I've finally devised the perfect strategy for you. You should play Dinomorphia.
Oh, and I thought about that, and I was like, I'm a genius. I was like, I wanted to play Traps, because it's something I never played, and I wanted to play Dinos, because Dinos are cool. And it's like, they're like Power Rangers, too.
Exactly, yeah.
And then I saw the waifu card was like $30.
Oh, yeah. She was. I don't think she is anymore, is she? I don't know.
No, the deck is dead. No one's playing the deck anymore. It's very cheap. If anything, I should probably get into it now. Now it's like super cheap, but it's whatever.
Dinomorphia is interesting.
It's like, yeah, I think it's really cool.
Well, the gimmick's neat by itself. That it's just Power Rangers. By the way, if you like look at the cards and then look at
look at the Power Rangers. Like what? Yeah,
it's literally
it's exactly 1 for 1. It's so cool.
It's not. They didn't even like tweak it.
They didn't even try to like. They just copied it.
It's just bar for bar the exact same thing.
It's so good. But yeah, I think the kind of gimmick about like paying half your life points and then just praying your opponent just doesn't find a way to like kill you is really cool.
Oh, the gimmick of like putting yourself on the very verge of death, being like, I will be in control of this game the whole time.
Yeah. So
as the control deck.
Yeah.
And you will not get a chance, and I'm going to bet literally the game on it. Kind of neat. I really like also that they get to play like funny stuff like Ferret Flames.
Oh yeah, that's I think my problem I stayed away from the deck is because like my friend played it and he went to time every time, so he always lost. So I was like, damn.
Yeah, it definitely does have that weakness in tournaments. Is that like you're on one life point the whole time?
Yeah,
so
your
it's like,
opponent can just be like, "What does this card do? I'm gonna activate this card, and this card's effect lets me." It's like, hurry up.
yeah, and then that would make me say it's better in casuals, but at the same time, it's like it's a floodgate deck though,
Yeah.
which is not always the best thing. I feel like if this is a thing I have often thought about trap decks and stuff, is that floodgates we need to find a way to make certain floodgates not as good.
Yeah,
because
true.
those decks aren't actually that like we don't hate them as much when they're playing like when they're playing Ferret Flames and they're playing actual trap cards and stuff.
Yeah.
We usually don't tend to think of that as being as disgusting.
It's like Burning Abyss. Like Burning Abyss, like they don't play like barely any floodgates. I don't remember, but and they just play like normal. They play like Needle Sealing or something.
Yeah, just like good trap
like
cards.
actually just good trap cards. But then we don't hate on that, and that deck is terrible. But Eldritch is like the bane of everyone's existence because they just play like every floodgate imaginable.
Yeah.
It's like, and when Imperial Order wasn't banned, oh my god, lost my goddamn mind. I lost my marbles. Oh my god, is someone there?
There's someone over there, but I am fairly certain this is the exact time slot we booked. Oh no, we are 6 minutes over, I think.
Oh, it's 6 minutes over?
Let me take a peek. I guess peek behind the veil though. We are booking a spot.
Yeah.
Oh, the dude's about to open the door.
Ah, I don't want to die! Oh my god.
And that's when we got interrupted and had to end that recording. But don't worry, because we're back next week with the continuation of this same conversation. So stay tuned and enjoy part 2 of our episode with Sean. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.